What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're a catalyst for meaningful conversations. I'm Jonathan Sprang, and I go by Sprang, and most weeks we dive into movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. But we don't stop there. We explore the morals, the deeper ideas, and the life lessons that these films offer. Today we are prepping for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, with Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder returning and starring Jenna Ortega, bringing that younger audience. We are excited for this movie, and we are even more excited after we prepared for it by watching the original Beetlejuice. Kristen joined us on the episode. We also dive into a little bit of talking about just scary stories in general, whether it's movies or it's books, and then we also talk about going to haunted houses. And then we get into some actor stuff. It's a fun conversation that we got to have with the kids, so we hope you enjoy it. You can follow our movie journey and join the conversation on Instagram at Movies That Make You. And you can also check out all of our lists over on Letterboxd at I Am Sprang. You'll see all the lists that are movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream, and everything in between. Drop us a message and let us know what movies have made an impact on your life. Before we dive into this week's episode, here's a sneak peek at the next 4 weeks of what's coming up on the Movies That Make You podcast. We're going to do a Transformers episode. We've watched 3 of the live-action Transformers movies in preparation for the Transformers animated film, Transformers 1, that drops that following Friday. The week after that, we're going to post a one-off episode talking about The Matrix. I know we've talked about it a few times on the podcast, but this time it's with the boys for the 25th anniversary of The Matrix. Figured it was worth having the conversation. The week after that, we've got our Christopher Nolan thinkers in preparation for the re-release of Interstellar, the 10th anniversary re-release that's going to be back in theaters. But in order to prepare for that, we're going to watch 3 Christopher Nolan films, and we're going to talk about them with the boys. The week after that, we will be doing a Joker-focused episode to gear up for the sequel to the 2018 smash hit Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This new one has Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role, and also Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. So gear up for it. We're going to watch a few other Joker iterations. Kristen and I will talk about the original Joker movie, Dark Knight featuring Heath Ledger's Joker, Batman 1989 featuring Jack Nicholson's Joker. Hope those episodes excite you, and without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast. I am Sprang, and I am joined by the entire family here today. Let's go around the room and share who's here, just starting left to right.
Hi, I'm Ezekiel, and I am 11 years old.
I'm Jacob, and I'm 13.
I'm Connor, I'm 14.
I'm Colton, I'm pushing 40.
I'm Mom/Kristen, and I am 40.
In this episode, we are going to be talking about the movie Beetlejuice in preparation for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, which is the sequel 36 years later. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about that movie. But before we do, let's do a quick check-in on life. Colton, how's things going there?
I'm pretty good. I just hit level 270 on Fortnite because I'm not good. And, yep, school. Oh yeah, school. All of homework now. So, that's pretty not cool, but all my teachers are Sigma.
Good. Connor, what about you? How's school? What else is going on?
I'm in high school now, and it's a lot more stressful, but I don't have homework unless I miss my work during class and I had to do it at home. But Mom said I would have a lot of homework, and I don't.
Hey, that's cool.
It's only the first week, so we'll see.
But Mom, what about you?
Yeah, we had a great weekend. Life is good. Just being busy, coaching, working, taking care of kids, loving life.
There you go. Zeke, how about you, man? How was your first week of school?
Everything has been going pretty good. My math teacher is Ultra Sigma, and my social studies teacher is also very Sigma. All my teachers are Sigmas.
That's pretty awesome. How about you, Jacob?
Life's going good right now. I'm going to try out for the youth band. I'm playing bass, and so I'm excited for that. I've also been playing electric guitar, and I'm still doing French horn and all that stuff. So I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, for me, life's just, it's busy, but it's all good. Like, we're having a good time. Got a couple of things going on in the hopper, so pretty good, pretty fun.
We got an electric vacuum that vacuums our house, and Mom said it's already cleaner. We only had it for like an hour.
Yeah. Grammy and Dita gave us an early Christmas present for us to get that vacuum. They had a sale, and so we got that, and It's just going to make the downstairs family areas look nicer throughout the week.
His name's Bob.
Yeah,
We love
Bob the vacuum. You've heard of Bob the Builder? This is Bob the vacuum. Very nice.
How about Vicky the vacuum?
Because of the alliteration. What's alliteration?
I don't know.
What's alliteration?
It's where two or more words start with the same letter.
Close.
2 or more words sound the same or have most of the same letters in them.
Close.
It's where Vicky the vacuum.
Okay. So here's the trick. There's 2 different words for 2 different sounds. One of them is a consonant sound and one of them is a vowel sound. So if 2 words have the same consonant sound, that's alliteration. If 2 words have the same vowels, that's assonance. Okay? Little English lesson for you.
Onomatopoeia.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites.
And what is that?
Oh,
Large shrimp.
bing bang boom. That's onomatopoeia. It's like it's like any
Words that sound like
like
they're sounding.
boom is like a bomb or something.
Yeah.
Words that are like sounds, like bam or slap.
That's fun. That's good. Cool. So let's so we are going to jump into talking about the movie in just a little bit, but I have to say when I first saw this as a kid, I didn't really understand it at all. Like when the first time I saw it, I didn't get it. I thought it was weird. I thought it was kind of scary. Mom, what about you?
I remember it not being too scary. I just thought it was kind of odd. It wasn't my favorite that I remembered. So when I saw the new trailer, I was like, all right. But I had a great time watching it.
Yeah.
How old were you whenever it came out?
I was 4 when it came out, and I believe I probably saw it around 7 or 8 years old.
And I don't remember what age I saw it. I just know my mom was not a fan. So I was probably like 10 or 12 before I saw it. And it's just, he's a goofy character. And we do have to comment, Michael Keaton is the only reason I wanted to see the new one because I just love him. And I thought, I want to revisit this character because I hadn't seen it in a long time.
Beetlejuice said the F word in a PG movie.
Yes, that was interesting. I was not prepared for that. And what's interesting too, we've talked about it on the podcast, but when Temple of Doom came out, and I think there was another one that came out the same year, that was 1980, I think 84 when Temple of Doom came out, and that was, I thought, when they introduced the PG-13 rating. And so they had certain rules, the ratings folks had certain rules about what they would rate things. So I just assumed that since this came out in 87, that it's not going to have any of that kind of stuff. But there's some inappropriate references, and there's some for what?
I thought it was PG-13.
Yeah, it was only PG. So yeah, so I kind of like with you. I saw it later after it came out, and I wasn't like, it wasn't one of my favorite movies, but the reason I want to see it is because it's an iconic character. Michael Keaton's back, Winona Ryder's back, so I'm excited for the sequel. I think it'll be good. I didn't even know that it was about a couple that dies in the first scene. And then now they're stuck in their house and they're haunting their house. So before we jump into Beetlejuice in particular, what are some other movies, haunted house movies that you've seen before?
Ghostbusters.
True. Yeah.
The Visit.
The Visit. Was that a haunted?
It's not technically a haunted house that the people live in the house are haunted.
So like, let's say ghost stories. What you guys know any ghost movies?
I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's one with Peanut and the other Peanut people. It was like a ghost story.
Yes. Like with the cartoon characters.
Like Charlie Brown in that? Charlie Brown. Okay. Yeah, the Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the Halloween episode. Absolutely. You know any ghost movies?
Goosebumps.
Oh yeah, Goosebumps probably has some scary stuff in it.
Ooh, The Shining.
The Shining is one of the most epic ghost stories ever. Yeah.
That one is one of my favorites. But then also Poltergeist. We haven't seen that one. So
That's also PG, so we might have to put that on our October list.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. But The Conjuring and Paranormal Activity both scared me.
Yeah.
Pretty hard.
Very scary.
I was gonna say one, but I kind of forgot. Ghostbusters.
Jacob already said that. You got to pay attention.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yep, that's another one. That's another one.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, yeah, that's got some scary ghouls and stuff, ghouls and goblins.
I think Nightmare Before Christmas is like such an iconic like Halloween movie.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't necessarily love getting scared. I have a great imagination and it takes me away. And so I want to make sure I'm grounded. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Shining. And I think that when we watched The Conjuring, Paranormal Activity, those were pretty creepy. Definitely ghost stories. But growing up, I loved reading about ghosts. So I would read ghost books.
What's one of those ghosts that you remember?
The Lady at the Top of the Stairs.
Okay, nice.
And there was also a show called Are You Afraid of the Dark? And that had, I think that was on Nickelodeon, that had some ghost stories.
Nice.
There's another scary book that Jacob read. It was like scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yep, that's a good one.
So I read Scary Book 2 in 7th or 8th grade. And it was like a girl that saw like a cat without an eye, and he was like across the road and he was meowing. And then whenever her mom came out to look at it, it would disappear. And then at night, she heard scratching on her windows. Nothing was there. And then whenever she woke up again, it was on her bed, and it's like scratched her eyes out or something. I don't know.
Wow,
Something like that.
crazy. Well, you, Jacob, do you have any haunted stories that you read about?
I mean, kinda. Pet Cemetery. I don't wanna spoil it.
Yeah, spoil it.
No, I'm not spoiling for you. It's like one of the greatest books ever.
Oh man.
So you have to read it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, that has to deal with some ghosts and stuff and a little resurrection.
Remember Casper as a kid watching that cartoon? Adam's Family was another one that kind of, I don't know that they had ghosts necessarily, but it's kind of like ghouls and goblins kind of thing, kind of weird, kind of in that same realm. The other one that came to mind as we were watching Beetlejuice is another Tim Burton, which is, I mean, Tim Burton also, I don't know that he directed Nightmare Before Christmas, but I think he was heavily involved in the production of that, but also Edward Scissorhands. So even the set designs and stuff, the way that he thinks about the world, like the house, the way that it's built, and then like the one scene where everything kind of gets stretched out and it's all out of proportion, and it's kind of like takes it from a regular rectangle to being kind of a cockeyed pentagon type thing, or not, yeah, parallelogram, whatever. That's kind of Tim Burton's visuals. So like and it looks like a really kind of house that didn't fit the neighborhood or didn't fit the area. And that's kind of the Tim Burton way of kind of design. Edward Scissorhands, very similar. I just remember, and I've only seen that movie one time also, but it's also Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, who they ended up combining to do other films together, lots of other films together. But we know Johnny Depp from what movie series?
Pirates of the Caribbean and Fortnite.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean and Johnny Depp. We know him from, what's the first show that he was ever on? Do you remember? We just watched the movie 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, he was really young in that one.
Yeah, and then we watched it, and we just watched that recently, and I had not remembered that he was in it in like a little cameo section. It's so funny. I don't want to spoil it because it's so good. You guys got to see 21 Jump Street. Stu.
There's actually a show called Beetlejuice. So there's actually a Beetlejuice show. So.
Are you sure? I've not heard of it.
Well, Colton accidentally clicked on it and he thought it was the actual Beetlejuice, but there was the Beetlejuice actual movie that he didn't click on.
Oh, so it's like it was on
Yeah.
HBO Max?
I searched the Beetlejuice on there and to see what it was on, and I accidentally clicked this show.
Was it like an animated show?
Yeah, it's a pull it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I kind of do remember that now from the 80s. I think there was an animated show. It wasn't any of the actors playing it, but yeah. So
Honestly.
yeah, cool. We'll post a link to that in our Instagram this week. So be sure to check it out at Movies That Make You on Instagram. Yeah, very cool. And last thing before we jump into the movie, haunted houses. Who here likes haunted houses?
Well, it depends. If it's too scary, like the ones that Jacob likes to go on, nah. But if it's like not scary enough, then nah. But it has to be in like the middle. Like it scares me, but I don't get a heart attack.
But how do you know it's too scary if you don't try it?
But how do I know if it's not scary if I do try it?
Right. You have to go so you can figure out if it's too scary for you. Connor, we went to a haunted house a couple years ago. What did you think of that one?
It was good. I thought it'd be a lot scarier. I remember like getting to the door, like right before we get in. I was like, no, I don't think I can do this. But then Jonathan was like, you gotta go. We waited in line for this.
Well, and here's the fun thing is I was scared too. Like I'm not like a fan. Like I like being scared like that, but I'm not. But I also get those like goosebumps that my stomach gets like, okay, what's going on? And then, but I took you guys because I want to be pushed beyond like that.
There was something I didn't like. It was the meat room. There was like guts everywhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't, especially like the walls. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep. Scary.
And Colton, you're gonna scream. Like it's scary enough, like you're gonna scream, but it's not like the scariest one ever.
I've been on the old Texas Giant, and I screamed at the top of my lungs on it. Will it be scarier than that?
Probably as scary.
It's
Oh,
a
so
different
probably fine.
it's a different kind of scary. And part of the point is that it's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be like get you like out of your comfort zone, but you're in a safe environment. They're not going to actually touch you. They're not going to hurt you. Like it's just the feeling. It's kind of like watching a horror movie. Like you're just getting that feeling in person, and it's exhilarating.
Is there an objective for it, or do you just like walk around?
For the haunted house, it's like a hallway. Like you just keep walking, and it sends you around and through and all this stuff and all these rooms. And I'll tell you, I mean, I was scared, but really the scariest part is not knowing what's coming. There was one room in particular in that one where they had a whole bunch of mannequins dressed up in a room, and like the strobe light was going, and you had to walk through the room, but you don't know if one of those mannequins is a real person. Nobody was. There was not a real person in the room, but it's because like you're going through the haunted house and you're like the anticipation of it. Is there going to be somebody there? That's more scary than actually the person doing something.
Why did you spoil it?
Because next time there might be someone. You really want to go now? For real?
All right,
I
guys,
know,
we need to
maybe.
bring 3 pairs of pants.
There was this one room in the haunted house that me and Dad went to. It was this guy, and he was like an ogre, and so he like kept people's body parts. He had a cleaver, and then he was holding someone else's arm, and like there were holes, and so he was kind of like in this room, and there were like holes all around, and he would walk around the room, and he would just keep on like putting the hand in front of me, and I screamed like 5 times.
In the same room, the same guys.
It was so funny, but it was fun. I loved it.
Yeah, for sure. And Jacob got so scared he started speed walking, and so I had to like catch up to him because like I don't want you to be alone in this. I don't want you to get lost in this space.
There was a guy chasing me. I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
He's not gonna.
Oh, I have an idea. Jacob, so you know how they can't touch you? If somebody's chasing after you, just stop running.
Yep.
Just stand still. They'll be like, all right, you can start running now.
Well, and the best part is he wasn't being chased. The guy was just walking, just like.
That's the funny part.
He was like 10 foot, dude. They had stilts on, and so he was like 2 feet taller than Dad.
Yeah.
And it was this big old long room. It was like the erosion bird or whatever. It was like that. It was like a big old monster. It was so cool though.
Yeah, it was fun. And the last epic moment was they have in the advertising they have this one character on the billboards and stuff, and so the very last room you go before you get out is like you see that person in the distance, and there's like strobe lights, and there's like a creaky bridge, and it's so dark, and you just have to try and walk and just try and keep going forward. But you don't know like is somebody going to get me? It's more the anticipation than it is the actual scares, and it's like they can jump scare you, but even movies that do that, even movies that just do jump scares, they're not always that scary. It's just you jump a whole bunch.
Yeah. What about the alligator movie where the branch breaks through
The only time you jumped was a
the
branch.
window? And I screamed, you guys. We were in the theater, and he looks over at me, and I was like,
No, it wasn't just me. The entire theater looked at you like, what is her problem? She's jumping and screaming because a branch broke through the window. But it's that a good movie does that, right? A good movie will take it and they'll build on that kind of jump scare mentality, but then they aren't really scaring you with the actual monster. It's just something else that you're anticipating to be scared, so you are scared. So I very rarely ever get jump scared because I know like I'm gonna be scared. Like this okay, I can usually tell like when the moment's gonna come, and so I'm kind of prepared for it. But I actually last year, I can't remember what movie it was, but I actually jumped in a movie for the first time in a long time. Usually it's not the jump scares that get me, and usually movies that rely on jump scares, they are kind of demeaned by critics by it because it's like, well, it's just a bunch of jump scares. You're not really building the tension. You're not really making the movie is not scary. You just relied on jumping to make us scared. So
Was it the new Insidious, the Red Door one?
it might have been. It might have been that I jumped in that one.
That one got me like a good 3 or 4 times because whenever we're watching the older movies, they don't use a whole bunch of good jump scares because, it's older and less quality. But the Red Door, dude, that got me. It was good. I loved it.
Yeah. So this is a good prequel to our October. October for us, we do 31 days of Halloween, and we watch a scary movie every night. So you guys will be able to watch some of those with us. Some of the time we'll have to tell you to stay in your room because not every movie that we'll watch is going to be appropriate for y'all, but we'll try and include you guys when we can. So let's jump into the movie. So we start, I already mentioned it, we start and the couple dies in a car wreck in the opening few moments, and then they wind up back in the house, and then it's them trying to figure out that they've died. That's a little bit, and then that they're people that are moving in, and then they're trying to figure out how do we get them out because they're not like us. They're changing our house and all that stuff, and then they have to figure out how to haunt. They have to figure out how to scare them, and then they actually start doing other things.
One thing that I just thought about was at the beginning, in the first few scenes, there was that neighbor who kept trying to say, "Hey, so and so would want to buy your house for 260,000. Would you sell?" And they're both like, "We don't want to sell." And the lady's like, "It's too big for you." Well, I'm realizing now that's why they wanted to haunt the house and get rid of those people, is because they love that house so much.
Yeah.
They're not happy with these new folks moving in.
Moving
making
in
all the
and
changes.
yeah, making all the changes and stuff. One call out, we did what we did talk about in the movie. Who was the mom in the movie?
It was the Will's mom in Stranger Things.
Yeah, Will's mom in Stranger Things, Winona Ryder, and she plays the daughter in the movie.
That's Home Alone mom.
Yeah, and Home Alone plays the stepmom. Home Alone mom, Kevin's mom plays the stepmom. One of the things that they find out is that the daughter, Winona Ryder, can see them, and so then they start talking to her and trying to figure out what's going on. And they just have like a normal relationship through the whole movie. She's trying to protect them. She's trying to tell her parents like what's up. But then what was the other thing that was interesting about the family was that they weren't scared of anything. What happened when they found out that the place was haunted? What did they do?
They celebrated.
Yeah, and
They wanted to make a like a amusement park or something else also. Hey yo, hey yo. Daylight come and we want go home.
that was such a funny scene. It was the first time that they like tried to do their powers as dead people, and they did like a possession, but it was like the silliest possession you've ever seen.
They tried to prove that life after death.
Yeah, they wanted to prove that, and then they found out from the dead zone people like don't do that. Like we don't want you to get caught. We don't want you to tell like all this stuff. And you got to scare them away so they don't find out that there is this other place. They couldn't haunt. They didn't know how to haunt, so they like thought, hey, maybe he can help us. Maybe he can help us haunt them and scare the people away. But then once they tried, they realized that he's got other things in mind, and he's not really someone that they want to make a deal with.
Beetlejuice, 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 and then he comes up, and then he's being so saucy and imposter, and then he's trying to like date this minor.
So why do they need Beetlejuice? What does he do?
The people that are already dead, like, are about to lose their souls in this soul losing place, and Beetlejuice needs to save them. The guy was doing a ritual to bring the ghost like there, but then the ghost started dying.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he read the book, which was Things to Know When You're Recently Deceased, and tried to follow it to make them appear. So then they had to bring Beetlejuice back to try and save them. But then he did it by saying, I'll help you, but I have to marry your daughter. And that was really sussy, inappropriate. And then they ended up saving the day by saying his name 3 times. And I love that scene. Beetlejuice, and he throws like the zipper on her mouth, and she unzips it and says Beetlejuice. I just thought that was clever. And then throws it on her mouth again, and it's like more like a metal plate or whatever. So the other thing I forgot to mention was that the husband, played by Alec Baldwin, is as like a huge model of the town in his attic.
Alec Baldwin was shocking. I didn't even recognize him. He was so young. He had to have been early 20s. And Gina Davis, I loved her from A League of Their Own. So I told the kids, we have to watch that one too. But their chemistry was really good. I liked how it was very believable. Besides the outlandish part of Beetlejuice, I felt, or, Michael Keaton's character, I just felt like the whole acting and the script, it was really well done.
Yeah.
I was shocked because the 80s movies aren't always that great.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope I don't get a bunch of hate from that because, we all have our...
Yeah, no, that's it.
And then the funniest part was when he was like, okay, I'll speak for her. Yes, that man on the right of me. Yes, I love that man of mine.
Yeah, it was funny when he always did the voice changes. That was cool. Yeah, so that's a good segue into favorite moments. Connor, what about you? What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is whenever the old guy was telling him to get a haircut. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Whenever Beetlejuice tried to steal the other guy's number, and then he found out and his head got shrunken, like the guy to the left of him.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny because the shrunken head guy's there the whole movie, and then to see Beetlejuice's head get shrunk at the very end, that was awesome.
You could see like the green screen like lines in his hair.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, that's going to be a good look for me if I just, turn my whole body small.
That was pretty good.
After seeing the movie one time, Zeke's got all the quotes. It's pretty epic, actually. Colton, do you have another part that you remember? What about the sandworms? Did you think those were funny
No.
or scary?
It just looked weird. Like, this might be a little rude, but their act of CGI was pathetic. But it was pretty old, so I can't really say anything against that.
Yeah, it was. So that's before CGI. So they don't have CGI. So that was puppets and cartoons.
Yeah, I saw at the very start. It looks like a mini thing.
Well, that was on purpose because they were doing the panning through the whole town, and then it ended up on the small version, his miniature version, the model version of his house, and then later we see the house outside. But yeah, a lot of it was done with miniature stuff in the production of the film too. So anything else? Any other? What about? Were there any scary parts?
Whenever the guy like moved his head backwards and then pulled it forwards, and then the girl would like, what'd she do?
She opened her mouth up, real big, and
Yes, that was creepy.
yeah.
The most scary part for me was when there was a hung girl. Coach, I don't think we survived that crash.
How'd you guess? So there's a whole bunch of edits where like somebody does something cool, and then somebody does something like way better, but they use the sound like, all right, not bad, now you, and they like transition. So that was from this movie, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool.
I didn't really find it scary at all. I just thought it was kind of quirky.
I'm kind of with Kristen. I didn't see anything super scary. The one part that does kind of make me laugh was like, they're like, can you do something scary? And then he says, sure, how's this? And then the camera shows the back of his head, but it shows like these things popping out of his face, and they're super scared, but it doesn't show the audience. So I thought that was probably one of my favorite parts.
I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. So I'm really excited about this new one coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited too. What do you guys know Jenna Ortega from?
She's from Wednesday. She's from Stuck in the Middle, and that's all.
I was gonna say Wednesday, and then shoot, I forgot the other one.
Well, another one that she's in, another franchise that she's a part of is Scream.
I know one other one she's from. Ohio.
That was pretty funny.
We just recently watched Miller's Girl, and it really showed the depth and variety that she can do acting wise. We enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. This came out in 1988. Tim Burton, Michael Keaton. What came out in 1989 with Tim Burton and Michael Keaton?
No.
Yep. So they go from this quirky, silly, goofy movie, and the next year do the complete opposite, epic, change the game for what comic book movies showed that what comic book movies could do, and showed Michael Keaton that he can be goofy and silly like a Beetlejuice, but he can be super intense and awesome like Batman.
Oh wait, was he playing the Joker?
No, he
Who
was
played
Batman.
the Joker?
Jack Nicholson played the Joker.
They should have gotten the guy who played Beetlejuice to play the Joker. That would have been Sigma.
He could have, but a lot of times they don't want to do the same type of character.
Does anybody know what that's called if you have the same character playing the same type of role? Starts with a T. You may not typecast. Y'all heard of that?
So that's like, just think Vin Diesel, and it's like typecast. Like, he plays one type of character.
Actually, he did the pacifier.
That's true. So what would you say that was?
Pretty good movie.
So if someone's scared of being typecast, what would you suggest that they do?
They do something that's not typecast. Wait, do you get like made fun of if you do typecast?
It's more like you end up being limited in your ability to get jobs because you don't have other options, right? So like you can't expand your opportunities because you can only do one type of movie. So that's a good call though, for sure, because that was his attempt to try and break out of that being typecast. He did that a few times, and then he's just like, you know what? I could take this franchise and make like tons of money off of it and make some fun movies and have producer rights and do all that stuff. So he just said, I'm just going to do that. The Rock is another one that he could have been typecast because he's so big. It feels like there's not very much else that he could do, but he's actually going beyond that. He did a role just kind of like the pacifier where he played
Tooth Fairy.
Yep, he did Tooth Fairy. And so he did the same exact thing Vin Diesel did, but he was more successful at doing those other roles. He also found TV spots that he could do. He played a sports agent, and that allowed him to break out and do some more dramatic stuff. He did other things. His breakout role that kind of showed that he could be more than just a big muscle guy was a movie called Snitch, where he had to go, I think he had to go try and help his son from being killed by some mobsters. So he had to play this dad that kind of had to try and solve this mystery type thing. Then you got somebody like Jim Carrey, who does a bunch of comedic roles, and then he tries to do some dramatic roles to try and show his range, like we were talking about with Wednesday. It's all coming full circle. Jenna Ortega leads us down a path, talk about all this stuff. It's amazing. Awesome.
No, Harry. I'm tired of living here, just being unsuccessful at things. All right, buddy, let's go.
Okay, that's a quote from Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, that's his role on the podcast, I guess.
He's like Bumblebee, but with movie quotes.
Exactly. Let's rate it real quick. Let's just go around Mom first.
Out of 5?
Yeah, 5.
I'd give it a solid 3.8.
I'll give it this many out of 5. 5.
It's 5. I'll give it a 5.
I'll give it 4.
I give it a 4.5.
I give it a 5.
I'll give it a 4. I think it was good. I hope you guys can go out and go see the movie this weekend. It's going to be awesome. And if you haven't seen the original, go watch it because it's worth it.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs.
They're not
Beetlejuice,
like us.
Beetlejuice,
They're not
Beetlejuice.
like us. They're not like us.
Thanks so much for listening to the Movies That Make You podcast, where movies are a catalyst for meaningful conversations. We hope that you'll give us a like, a share. Let us know you were here over at our Instagram at Movies That Make You. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. So until next time, keep watching movies.